Today we are going to expose the moment Jehovah's Witnesses stop pretending. The moment they show their true face. We expose the heart of the trap. The stage Jehovah's Witnesses hope you never discover. It's called dispossession. And it's when they take everything they wanted from you and throw you away. The 3 episodes that I've done on the anatomy of JW deception converge to this moment. This is the moment that no one talks about. The part where love turns cold, the control tightens, and the people you trusted most turn on you like strangers. Welcome to the last episode in the anatomy of Jehovah's Witnesses deception. Now, Jehovah's Witnesses don't just recruit you. They extract everything out of you. Your time, your relationships, your money, your energy, including your identity. And when you are no longer useful, that's when they execute the final move in the anatomy of JW deception, dispossession. Now, this isn't theory. This is happening right now. It may not be happening to you, but it is happening in other people's lives. And today, we expose how. If you are new to this channel, my name is Dr. K, and I want to welcome you to Tell Me Dr. K, a channel in which we discuss matters of theological nature, no matter how complex, difficult, or uncomfortable they might be. We discuss religious teachings that we perceive contradict the Bible. Now, using the general anatomy of deception, anatomy meaning makeup, which I've developed after studying deception, we mentioned that in the first stage, a deceiver is looking for people to deceive. He or she is looking for a person in a particular condition or state.
Have you ever had a return visit with someone who just loves your company? Perhaps you've been leaving literature with that person for months, even years, and yet the person has no genuine interest in progressing. Why is that a problem? Apparently, the person isn't interested in becoming a disciple of Christ Jesus. Our time would be better spent searching for other people who are rightly disposed for everlasting life.
And for Jehovah's Witnesses, they are looking for people facing existential questions, issues of life. Those people who are devastated emotionally because of loss, grief, people who are at their lowest moment because they are the people who can identify with how evil the world is, which is at the center of Jehovah's Witnesses.
I learned that God does not cause suffering, but time and unexpected events may overtake any of us. But it's not because God is angry with us.
One day, a friend of mine who also lost her legs in the earthquake told me that Jehovah's Witnesses showed her from the Bible that the earth will be a paradise. We will have our legs again, and we will be able to walk and run and dance. That gave me confidence that God loves us very much, and He is going to make everything wonderful. When I read Isaiah chapter 35, verse 6, where Jehovah God promises that the lame will leap like the deer, I finally understood that a God who would make that promise would never hurt good people. I had been lied to about God, but now I know that Jehovah's promises are real.
But my dad, he abused alcohol and smoked cigarettes and used bad language. So by the time I was a teenager, I was doing exactly the same thing. In my later teens, I was smoking marijuana every day, and I was spending up to 4 nights a week at pubs and clubs and parties. I was addicted to alcohol, cigarettes, marijuana, and pornography, and I had no power to stop. Obviously, it was only a matter of time before that lifestyle affected my health. I lost my social skills and I became depressed. The turning point in my life came one afternoon when two of Jehovah's Witnesses knocked on my door.
Episode 2 looked at a condition called allurement. And what is allurement? Allurement is a stage when a deceiver, having found you, offers a solution. Not just any solution, a tailor-made solution to your problem, to your challenge. Any question you try to raise, he or she answers. When you raise doubts, they are made to evaporate with testimonials. As soon as you agree to receive the help from a deceiver, you have entered stage 3. For Jehovah's Witnesses, you have agreed to study the Bible with them, a process of indoctrination. So in episode 3, we focused on a stage in the anatomy of deception called entrapment. So they begin to teach you the 4 sections of Enjoy Life Forever, what they call an interactive Bible study, which begins slowly and intensifies as you go. By the time you are finished with the course, you will have been totally indoctrinated, and then at that point, you can be baptized. If this video is resonating with you, kindly do me a favor, just one favor. Like, subscribe, and smash the notice bell so that this message can reach more people. And when I upload part 2 of this video, you'll receive a notification. Now, in the general anatomy, as soon as you start receiving benefits from the deceiver, when he starts making good on his promises, you enter entrapment. But when you start questioning, or when you discover that I can't continue with this and you want to get out, then the deceiver executes the final move, dispossession. So in this video, we are going to look at what dispossession is. They smile when you join and vanish when you leave. This is their most cruel game. You are the pawn. You have heard of indoctrination. You have seen love bombing, but few survive long enough to speak about what happens after dispossession. It's not a rejection, it's erasure. When Jehovah's Witnesses are done with you, you lose your family, you lose your friends, you lose your identity, you lose your community, and you lose yourself. The sense of self is totally lost. Here is a clip from Navasanga.
I came to talk to Jody, who has a similar story. He was disfellowshipped the day he finished high school after the organization discovered he had got a young woman pregnant.
In front of the whole congregation that people should avoid contact with me, and they gave the reason why, and everybody, like I said, turned around and looked, and within that second, they were never going to speak to me again, and they never did. None of them. The boys in the congregation that were close to my age that I had grown up with, that was the last time that I talked to them.
This is the final stage of the 4-part deception entitled The Anatomy of JW Deception. In this episode, we expose how Jehovah's Witnesses do it and how you can break the chain. They made you believe you are chosen, only to discard you like trash. You gave them trust, you gave them time, you gave them your life. And when they were done with you, they didn't just walk away. They made sure you lost everything too.
The most painful thing I think you can do to another human being is to isolate them and cut them off. That's why solitary confinement, is such an issue in the prisons and stuff, and why it's such an effective tool also in those environments, because that people will do almost anything to just not be alone. And when you're raised as Jehovah's Witness your whole life, when all of your family around you, all your friends are in that environment, when they cut you off and disfellowship you, you are put into solitary confinement.
And now, this is more than religious manipulation. This is calculated extraction. This is dispossession, the final stage of Jehovah's Witnesses trap. Today, we are going to expose the moment Jehovah's Witnesses stop pretending, the moment they show their true face. In this final episode, we expose the heart of the trap, the stage Jehovah's Witnesses hope you never discover. It's called dispossession, and it's when they take everything they wanted from you and throw you away. This is the final move, the final step. This is when they've already gained your trust, when they've already controlled your life, and now they are ready to discard you. This isn't just theory. This is happening to real people right now. In fact, it happens to so many. They don't even know they've been set up until it is too late. Remember the story that I've been telling in bits and pieces through the 4 episodes about this African woman who went to a Western country expecting a child and wanted the child to be born in that country, and she got stuck, ran out of money, the visa expired, and she was in trouble because the pregnancy had advanced. I mentioned that she was desperate. So she went to a clinic, and at the clinic, a black couple saw the desperation and offered to give her help. They convinced her she could move in with them. She started staying there, and that couple even started quarreling, creating the guilt that she has created the strain on that relationship. Now, I mentioned in stage 3, entitled Entrapment, that what they did was that they asked this woman to register the man as the father of the child so that the woman can use the insurance. And the woman agreed. So immediately the woman moved in with them, she entered entrapment. So whatever they asked, she had no option but to agree, because these were so good people and very helpful. Before the end of this video, I'll tell you what they dispossessed from her. At entrapment, the deceiver removes the mask. The kindness, the courtesy, the help, the politeness, all vanishes like mist on a windscreen. Then at this point, the deceiver makes it clear why he or she chose you and begins to demand that you give that person what he wanted. Before we dive in, let's take a quick step back and understand the journey up to this point. In the first part of the trap, they find you vulnerable. You are looking for answers, you are desperate, lonely, and frustrated. And that's where they step in, offering you something they know you are craving for. But soon, you've crossed a line and you are trapped. You have gone from allurement to entrapment. It's at this stage that Jehovah's Witnesses gain control of your life. You are encouraged to cut ties with those who don't agree with the doctrine. Once they have you, they don't plan to let go. Dispossession begins. You have been used. Your time, your energy, your resources, your trust, even your soul has been sacrificed. You genuinely believed you are serving Jehovah, not knowing you are saving an organization. I've done videos on whom Jehovah's Witnesses really worship. I'll leave a link at the end. And now it's time to be dispossessed. They take everything from you, and in return, you are left with nothing. Here is a clip from Navasanga.
After you got disfellowshipped, you obviously went back. Was a big reason the fear of just losing all your community and your social bonds with friends and family?
Yeah, it became a harsh reality. And because, especially all my family, were Jehovah's Witnesses, it just felt like I have to get back in, right? Because I can't not have this ability to have relationships with all my family. My brother-in-law, who was a ministerial servant, was removed because they didn't immediately kick me out of their house when I was disfellowshipped. So there were consequences for the people that I think kept contact. And that's, a good way to keep those people in line with all the rules as well and enforce this is, well, if you're going to talk, you can be disfellowshipped for having a relationship, like even a family relationship with somebody who's disfellowshipped.
Now, when you have lost everything, your real cost begins to hit. Intense feeling of loss, loneliness, and betrayal.
Probably those first year, couple of months. Would you say you felt alone, like very lonely?
Yeah, I felt like completely alone. I had this experience which made it very surreal for me. So I joined a jiu-jitsu club, and I've been doing that now for a couple of years. And, you get in and you need to sign like a form, right? And you need to put an emergency contact, right? And it was at that point, I have nobody, right? There's nobody that I could put on that column to call, right? And so I think it's still the case. I should update it. My emergency contact was 911, right?
Now, when we take the general model of deception, at entrapment, the deceiver removes the mask. The kindness, the courtesy, the help, the politeness, all vanishes like mist on a windscreen. Then at this point, the deceiver makes it clear why he or she chose you and begins to demand that you give that person what he wanted. A real story is told of a woman who was promised a job in a neighboring country by a relative. She went to that country, they organized the passport, the air ticket, and she moved in with that relative in the neighboring country. Then, shortly after, she was put on a plane going to the Middle East. Whilst in the Middle East, her guest told her she had to carry drugs to South America. And this was a woman who was God-fearing. She refused to take the drugs. No matter how much they tortured her, she never budged. They tortured her to her death. The other women that she went with from the same country, they kept going around the globe as mules for drugs. The relative who had deceived her kept on sending money to the mother. The mother thought, my daughter is doing fine. Those other ladies that she was with who knew the truth, their guilty could not let them. They had to finally tell the mother, your daughter is dead. That is the heart of dispossession. When you refuse to give what the deceiver wanted from you, they take away everything with no remorse. You see the true colors. You see the cruelty and betrayal. And what you get in return of your sacrifice? You get shame, just silence, and emotional void. But it doesn't have to end there. In fact, it doesn't even need to begin. One viewer of the second part of the episode said, I started studying with Jehovah's Witnesses. When I reached lesson 16, I stopped. Now, having watched your video, I realize I made the right decision and I don't have to feel guilty about this anymore. Others have made comments on that video. I have a number of comments that have been made on that video. The most recent one said, you know nothing about teachings of Jesus Christ. You are now preaching about Jehovah's Witnesses. Another one says, you can spread lies all you want about JWs. But guess what? Jehovah saved me from open head car injury in 2005. I'm still happy and living. And I don't know what that has to do with the video. What's even worse, when 21st century dark days ahead arrive, this is spiritual warfare. How will you survive without God's help? I'm wondering what this guy thinks. He thinks I have no God in my life. So you see how much they use fear to threaten people. Do you know what sort of dark days are ahead? No amount of government protection, medicine, science, money can save you from what's coming. On the same video, there are many comments of people that have mentioned of how they've been helped, who have shown and explained how JWs have actually traumatized them. Here's one that says, I don't like seeing these JW videos. I'm sure he means clips that I put in my video. Is there no other way to instruct and encourage JWs to exit or not to be caught up in the web in the first place? For example, I've been through all the JW crap and nearly died getting free of it. I know the Christian churches I've searched are pretty off balance nowadays. I simply follow Jesus, whom I believe is God. Trinity, all these days of my life, I trust no man's stupidity anymore. But I can't watch these JW videos anymore. Remember the story that I've been telling in bits and pieces through the 4 episodes about this African woman who went to a Western country expecting a child and wanted the child to be born in that country, and she got stuck, ran out of money, the visa expired, and she was in trouble. So she went to a clinic, and at a clinic, a black couple saw the desperation and offered to give her help. And here is what they were after. I guess you've already guessed, the child. Immediately, the woman gave birth to a beautiful child. They called in the police that they were living with an undocumented person who had overstayed the welcome of that country. The police came, arrested her, and deported her. She lost the very thing that took her to that country, dispossessed of the baby. The final move of deceivers. Dispossession is the final stage, but it's not the last chapter of your life. You have power to reclaim what has been stolen from you. You can break free. You can rebuild. You can live without fear of their control. So that's the final part of the anatomy of JW deception, dispossession. In the final part, it ends in two ways, and you can choose how it ends if you are already caught in the cult. And if you have found this video enlightening, kindly do me a favor. Just like, subscribe, and smash the notice bell so that this video can be seen by more people and to receive a notification for the next video that I will upload. If you have not watched part 1 of this video, click on this link. To watch episode 1 to 3, click on this link. To watch the video I mentioned about the God that Jehovah's Witnesses truly worship, click on this link. To watch other videos about Jehovah's Witnesses' dark secrets, click on this link.